welcome to the Dice Tower Spring Spectacular, featuring top 10s, live plays, contests, and more.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to both the Spring Spectacular 2023 and Board Game Breakfast. I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Chris Yi, springing into puns.
Spectacularly.
All right, let's restart.
I blame the restart on you, Tom.
Yes, that's correct. YouTube, Ecamm all agreed with me. All right, folks, welcome to the Spring Spectacular. If you have not been part of one of our spectaculars before, it's going to be a bunch of live stuff over the next 4 days. You can find links in the descriptions to jump around. When we're done with breakfast, for example, we're jumping over to the other studio for Shoots and Marbles, and we'll be moving on from there. And yeah, that's it. Then there's nothing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because we take those days off, but we'll be back next week with some normality. As much normality as the Dice Tower ever has. All right. Well, with that being said, welcome. We're glad you're here. Tell your friends, tell everybody, enjoy, have fun and chat, but we're going to get started with some of our contributors.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella from Maple University and the Dice Tower. Today we have Horseless Carriage by Splotter. This game plays 3 to 5 players, and this is one of our most anticipated games of 2023. And it's here.
Yes, the latest from Splotter. Of course, they're very well known for their big, heavy,
Crunchy Euro game.
Yeah, and old style brutality, I guess, is what they're known for.
And this is not escaping from that brutality.
Well, I think it is. I don't think it's anywhere near as brutal as... Certainly, I never felt I was going to get cornered into a complete destruction the way I was going to in Food Chain Magnate.
Because you keep winning this game, Tarrant. It's alright. Food Chain is very brutal.
Okay.
Corner the market, but, you know, I think there's still a little bit of way of catching up. But still, I think once you're gone, it's like... you invested on the wrong technology and that's it, your game's gone.
Yeah, it does end quickly though.
That's true.
Not even Splotter is immune to what I think is the modern trend towards short Euros, like 4 or 5 round Euros. This will run between, it'll go a maximum of 7 rounds,
yep.
And it could end in 5 or 6. So it's actually pretty short.
Yeah. So check it out, Horseless Carriage, and let us know what other games that you've played that is also brutal. It could be modern game, could be older games. Let us know in the comments. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hi everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Marvel's Damage Control. So basically, you have all these Marvel characters that are beating up all these villains, destroying all these towns in their wake. Who's going to clean it up? We've got the Damage Control. Damage Control is going to come up, clean up all the mess. In this case, uses a deck building game. You have a very, very small hand of 6 cards, or a deck of 6 cards to start with. You're going to draw 4 at a time, and you're going to use those cards in order to reveal this huge kind of rubble pile, right? This rubble pile, all these cards are flipped face down, and it has kind of an interesting pick-up stick style mechanism where you kind of have to very carefully take out cards from that, flip them over, and reveal them, and then you use other cards to buy them. These cards go straight in your hand, which is fantastic, and then from there, you can either play them, or really what you want to do is to get victory points, you want to put them into your vault. So then sometimes you don't even play some of your strongest cards because they're worth a lot of points. So you have to kind of weigh and balance whether you want to play them for their abilities or put them in the vault, which is a great time.
Okay, can I just say, the more I look at the cover, the more I laugh. Like, this dude right here, like, we have all been this guy. Like, especially if you're a parent and your kids are fighting again, or they wake up and you see this huge mess and you're just like... like,
thanks a lot, Avengers.
like, I feel that guy. Like, I just get him on a deep level. Anyway, the more I look at the box, the more it just makes me laugh. But this is a really unique take on deck building. And it's interesting because the cards that you start with, oftentimes you end with at the end of the game. Because you're wanting to vault all the cool cards. And so it doesn't give you, you don't get any points to vault your starter cards. So at the end of the game, multiple times, I'd be like, yes, I only have my starter cards. I was able to vault all the good stuff.
Yeah, Bethany was much better about vaulting at the right timing than I was. I was always like, if I can get one more use out of him, oh, want to get one more use out of them, and then I'm stuck with the hand, and I couldn't make them. So, yeah, I thought this was a really unique take on deck building. Bethany mentioned that. I love this pick up sticks mechanism. I love how the theme kind of matched the mechanisms. I love it when games are able to do that matched up well. And this did a great job of that. So, yeah, it's Marvel Damage Control.
Everybody, if you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Everybody, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast.
Bye, everybody.
Guys.
All right, as we continue taking a look at games from years gone yore. I was about to say years gone yore.
Feels like I'm covered.
Years gone yore.
What do you say about
Years gone by.
it's years gone by, but
Days of yore.
days of yore.
Ye old years.
Anyway, 1993 is what we're talking about.
The good old days of '93.
93 is old.
don't think you can call
It is
that
30
old.
years ago.
Look, I was
30
alive.
years.
I was alive then. It ain't old. Okay. I was playing On Guard as a baby.
I had a niece born that year.
You guys were not too far from being born that year.
Also,
All right.
a niece born before me, so that's a thing.
You're an aunt twice removed.
That's always weird. I blame the people with widespread families for causing these problems.
Yes. Those families with many, many kids.
Yeah, no, I have mine in a condensed amount of space, okay?
You have ones in college and elementary school. Condensed.
Yes, but there's still 14 years for 7 kids.
That is impressive.
I did okay. I'm really off.
Your wife did
I'm
okay.
really off.
That's all on her.
Okay, On Guard is a game from Reiner Knizia. This is a dueling game, and the board itself is basically just a track where you're moving back and forth, and you're trying to jump in and stab the other guy and move back. It's actually a pretty decent game. It was remade by David Serlin. He gave credit to Dr. Knizia, then wholesale stole the game and added a bunch of special powers, which I really do like. I think that the special powers add a lot to the game. But On Guard itself is fun. I don't know that it holds up really well now. What's it rated on Board Game Geek? 2,981. That's not bad. It's there. Reiner Knizia. Piero did the art, which is a rare thing. Piero did the art for Ghost Stories and Mr. Jack games.
I was going to say, when you said this is a game from 30 years ago, with that particular cover...
That particular cover is not from 30 years ago.
Is not. Okay, because it didn't seem like it.
That is the Eagle Griffin game, and I'm not sure when that one came out.
13 years ago, your review for it came out.
Did they all have the little metal characters with the pointy swords?
I don't know. I don't know that I played the original version. I probably played it when it came out 13 years ago.
It's probably strips
okay.
of paper.
So,
Made by Knizia himself in his garage. Do they have garages in Germany?
it says experience the thrill of fencing. Fencing actually is one of those things I would like to do. I just don't know any way to do it without
took it in
really
college.
going out of your way.
No, I took a semester in college of fencing.
Did you like it?
It was fine. It was weird. Like, it was a lot of basic of just learning how to walk forward and backwards correctly. That's what I felt like
So
a
it's
lot
like
of it
a sideways
was.
of dancing?
The sideways of dancing.
Like it's like
Like you move
dancing?
your front foot and your back foot catches up, then you move your back foot and your front foot. Like
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of like dancing. You learn to move your feet.
kind of. I did
That's
take dance
because-
classes at the same time.
Did you?
I did, yeah, in college.
It's
Those one semester classes.
I
are
took
really
a dancing. Yeah, they really are.
Fun. Yeah.
I took dancing with a minor in fencing.
I took a racquetball class in college. That was great. It was basically an excuse to like play racquetball every day.
Why is he in this conversation?
I don't know. But anyways,
Has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What are you
fencing,
talking
You gotta
about?
shuffle your feet, man.
competitively is way different than movies make it look. Movies make it look super cool. It was
Yeah.
very, very basic.
Well, Wednesday Addams did it to the blood or something like that.
Oh, yeah. That was
Anyway, that's just back and forth with card play. It's a dynamic game, and it is thematic. It's worth checking out. It's a nice back and forth 2-player game.
I really want to. I do want to try. We watched your review on it actually last night. We're like, well, okay, what is this one? And I got to say, it sounds solid. You also made fun of the fact that it has like a basic mode, which is like play a card. Like they like simplified it, and then they have like the advanced version, which I think is like the regular version where the card play is actually interesting.
Yeah.
So
It's been a long, I don't remember all that.
More
but
give and take.
Yes. So check it out. I don't think it's in our library, but it might be. I don't think so.
I
it
don't
is
think
not,
so.
unfortunately.
It is not in our
I
library.
looked it up. Remember, I typed in On Guard, and the game that popped up was Zen Garden.
That's right. That was funny.
And all the letters are right there in order.
Well, there you go, folks. That's a game from 30 years ago. Unguarded. Hey, I'm Jordan. Let's talk about a great game to play on a weeknight. Now, when I was growing up in like, I don't know, late 90s or so, I played a lot of Nintendo 64, GoldenEye. Oh, what did I play? GoldenEye, Mario Kart, Super Mario, stuff like that. But one of my favorite games to play was always Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, what have you. I always play the Tony Hawk games. And a game came out last year, and it was one of my favorite games to come out last year, and that is Skate Summer. Skate Summer is from Pandasaurus, and this has all of those really cool vibes of that kind of skate culture in that time frame that I was enamored with. I didn't skateboard a ton. I tried, but definitely fell on probably the poser side of that. However, I always thought it was cool. And so from the periphery, I thought it was neat. And this game, it's got some cool stuff with some push your luck, balancing the cards because you don't want to fall off your skateboard, chaining the tricks, and then also moving around this board collecting stuff. And that, in Tony Hawk Pro Skater, you are moving around a location, collecting stuff. You are stringing together tricks for more points. You are trying not to fall. And it gathers those stuff. I wouldn't say it's like a super thematic game, but the packaging, the way that it's so vibrant and the way that it, it just sounds like, Goldfinger is playing in the background as you're playing this game. Whether you put it on or not, you should probably try that. But I really enjoy Skate Summer. I think if you're into this kind of theme and you're cool with the look, this one has some really cool stuff to check out. Like this one a lot. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
Hello Proti here, your remaining content creator, and today I will continue my series where I will talk about a specific part of a game, and today we will talk about a small card game, Capital Lux. We have here a card game where you are playing cards into your city to create to create majority on the different suits in the game, to have like a sum of more numbers on that specific color than the other player, so that you get at the end of the round the bonus card or the card that will give you points at the end of the game. But in the same time, all the players will play when they choose to not to play in their city a card. They can play one card in the capital, and there you will get some benefits. But in the same time, you have to keep the sum of the cards in a specific color in the capital higher than in your city, because if you have if the capital is number on a color is lower than what you have in your city, then all your cards are lost and you for sure will not get majority on that. So it's an interesting game, some drafting at the beginning of the rounds. It goes over 3 rounds if I'm not mistaken. But the interesting thing that I wanted to discuss today is one of the suits which are, or one of the abilities that you get if you play a card in the capital. And this is on this brown or yellowish color, and it's an easy ability. You just get one of these coins in the moment when you play a yellow card of the yellow suit in the capital. And the point is why it is really efficient and nice is because you can use at the end of the round, when you check if you have a higher number than the capital in your city on that specific suit, not on yellow, on all the suits, you can use on whatever suit you need this money, let's say, or these tokens. Every token is bringing your number a bit, one number down. So you can play with this, and if you are not using them, you will have them as bonus points at the end of the game. So really interesting and flexible ability. Those tokens you can keep from round to round. So it's a interesting and easy ability that you will get if you play a card in the capital. This is what I wanted to discuss about Capital Lux. Have a nice break.
All right, so this week is the Spring Spectacular. Let's go over what we have from the Spring Spectacular. First of all, directly after this, at 10 o'clock, we're going to Shoots and Marbles. If you've never seen Shoots and Marbles, it's our marble racing we used to do. We put it on temporary hiatus last summer. It's been almost a year since y'all have seen Shoots and Marbles. This does not mean it's going to be back on a weekly basis, but we will do it occasionally. We'll see how it goes today. After Shoots and Marbles, Joey, Brian, and Mike are playing Kabuto Sumo with the new expansion.
Total mayhem.
Are they bringing out the chair?
And when I said Mike, I meant Michael DeLisio.
Who?
Who's in the studio currently eating waffles. Then Mike's going to be teaching Furnace with its new expansion. And then Wendy and Chris are going head-to-head in Disney Sorcerer's Arena with the new expansion. That's all in the next block. And then after lunch, we got Jeff's going to be taking a look at Scoville. Stella's going to be taking a look at Fuse Countdown. And then at the very beginning at 2 o'clock, we all, and many people here at Dice Tower, are going to be playing Jackbox Live, and we're asking you to join us for fun and voting and stuff like that. That's everything going on today. Tomorrow morning, we're excited because the Dice Tower Award nominations, we're going to announce the best games of last year, and we have another announcement in regards to that. And then Fractured Sky. IV Studios will be here in the studio teaching that. Dice Manor, Books of Time, and Wild Tiled West. And then Carla, Joey, and Wendy are going to be doing their top 10 nature games, which may or may not. No, I'm not going to get into that. We're not going to talk about what games are eligible or not. I'll let them argue about that. All right.
I was going down.
Wednesday, crowd surfing is going to be in the morning. We'll start off with crowd surfing right away. Then Chris is going to be showing off the new game, Jerusalem. Then we're going to be, Mike and Z are going to be playing a new cooperative, Santorini, The Riddle of the Sphinx, Roller Coaster Rush, the remake of that game, and Marvel Dice Throne. And then me, Mike, and Z are going to be doing top 10 games that should be in every home. If they're not in your home, you need to quit being a gamer.
You're not really a board gamer.
That's correct, in a very, very, very sarcastic way. Please note that. All right.
Hashtag jokes.
Then on Thursday, Board Game Smorgasbord, and another top 10 nature game with Chris, Brian, Roy, and Camilla.
The real nature game list.
I'll let you guys fight over that.
You're the all-natural nature games. You're the prefab made by...
Everything on the Dice Tower will be family friendly. And then we're playing Earth. And then Graham will be talking about the top 10 underappreciated games. And then we'll be ending the spectacular with Thunder Road Vendetta. Witness us. Lots of stuff going on. We hope you all enjoy that. We're going to keep going here, though.
Assalamu alaikum. 3000 Scoundrels was a new game from Unexpected Games, and I'm a fan of Unexpected Games because they always make something unique, something different, which is, well, unexpected as their name applies. And they always try to do something different, which is you have not seen in the games before. So sometimes it's a hit or a miss as well, and similar was the case with 3000 Scoundrels as well, that it didn't gel much with many of the players. But if you are one of those who did buy this game and you are not finding the right kind of players or time to play it with other players, then have no worry, because Unexpected Games have released a solo print and play expansion for this game. You can go to the Unexpected website, and under 3000 Scoundrels, you will be able to find this print and play file, which you can then find the complete Automa rule set, which is pretty much simplified, and by using it you can play the game by yourself without having any other opponent. So if you are feeling that your investment wasn't really paid off, then maybe this is one of the ways that you can play the game all by yourself. If you're the only one who liked it and you're not finding it much fun with other players, that you can get more plays out of this game and get to have still fun. So get this file from the Unexpected Games site. You can do a search on Google as well for 3000 Scoundrels solo rules. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today I'm going to be talking about a game that came in a Kickstarter as a part of a trio of board games. And the other two games in the trio are Habitats and Basketboss, which I really love Basketboss. And the other game in this trio is called 9 Lives. So 9 Lives is a trick-taking game, and the only other trick-taking game I've played is called Euchre. And if you're from the Midwest, you may have heard of Euchre, or maybe even played it. And it's not my jam. I mean, you're like kind of relying on a partner to win tricks for you, And I mean, that's fine. I like partners, but it's kind of not bleh. So what I like about 9 Lives better, because yes, I do like this better, is that, you know, the simplicity of it makes it a lot better, because I like simple games. It's just way more simple. And another thing is the art. Like, the art looks a lot better than playing cards, to be honest. I think this cool cat looks way better than the kings and whatever. And one thing I wanted to mention is how we got the deluxeified version, so there's chunky cat pieces. So when you're predicting your tricks, you get to use a big chunky cat, which I think is cool. Another thing I think is pretty cool is when you're predicting those tricks, when you're predicting it, if you predict 1, and then you go all the way past 4, it just shoots you back to 1, so you win that. So I think that's pretty cool. Another thing I like is how you can kind of see the backs of the cards, in that you can see how it's a suit. So you can see that this is a purple card, and this person might have an edge on you because purple is trump. So you can see maybe this guy has a lot of purple cards, so he's probably going to win most of the tricks. And just the one thing about this game that I don't love is how the box isn't big enough to fit your cat or your cat dog, because I have one of those. Well, alright. Thank you for watching. Have a great breakfast. Bye.
No. Each week in Board Game Breakfast, we take a look at one of the shelves in the Dice Tower library. It's going to look like we're doing it randomly, because we are. Mostly I skipped the next shelves that we were going to go to because Wendy and Chris don't play almost any game on those shelves, so a waste of my time to even look at it with them.
What company was it? Or like
it was the CMON. There was CMON stuff.
Oh.
No, I skipped it.
I am okay with that.
And then Roy would have dove on camera to give his opinion.
Like, I play it!
Anyway, let's take a look at this shelf and see which one we like. All right, let's take a look at this shelf. We're taking a look at shelf 21A. First, we're starting with 2 copies of Role Player. This one includes the expansions. This one's alone. Not everyone wants to play with the expansion, so I have both copies there. And then this amazing game in the role-playing universe, Lockup, about getting out of prison or being the best prison gang. Ships. This is from Martin Wallace. I think it's the only one. I don't think I put automobiles in the library. Fields of Green is kind of a follow-up to drafting game. Basically, it's a follow-up to Among the Stars. It's probably better than Among the Stars, although I like that theme better. Clinic, a very, very heavy Euro-style game with a lot of emphasis on parking. Here's Epic Galaxies. This is kind of a funny one. One of our fans made this for us. Fantastic. I have all the tiny Epic games over here. But this is just Epic Galaxies. It's normal sized. Time Arena, a really cool duel game where you're flipping timers to attack each other. Majolica, this is a fairly, obtuse abstract strategy game, but a lot of people like it. Magic Fold, this is about folding things and then attacking each other. You fold like a handkerchief into different shapes. You'll see. Vicious Fishes, this is pallet trash. Ground Floor, this is actually, I put this and Clinic kind of in the same category. Star Realms, this isn't the biggest box of Star Realms. It's about the biggest box I put in the library, though. And then Sunrise City, a very underrated game about building a city. Very good one, though.
Yeah.
I've played one game on that shelf.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Unless you count Epic Galaxies, because I played the tiny version.
Then you have that too. It's the same thing.
It's the same game, yeah.
So what's the game?
I really like Ground Floor. It's a
You have
good
not
game.
played Role Player?
No.
What you have? Oh, I played it one time at a convention.
So that was the thing, is I really wanted to play it when it first came out, and it just never happened.
Wow. Yeah, that Role Player's okay.
That's right. I played it at...
Wait, you've never played Star Realms?
Oh, I did play Star Realms, but I played the weird cooperative version of it, which was not good.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah,
But I haven't played like real Star Realms. I've only played like that weird version, so I don't count it.
I've not played the big box of Star Realms because I think that is ludicrous.
No, that's the big box. That's not the...
I even think that's silly. But yeah, you're right.
That's palatable to me.
But the gargantuan box?
The gargantuan box is ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's see. My favorite is probably Ground Floor as well. I've been out of all of those.
Such a good economic game.
Ground Floor would be my least favorite on the shelf, except Clinic exists.
What about Vicious Fishes?
Vicious Fishes, pile of trash. I already said that.
I had fun making that box, though.
That's true. That's the only place in the world.
That's a QE box right there.
It's the only place in the world you will find a boxed edition of Vicious Fishes.
It's also one of the few libraries in the world, maybe the only library that has Vicious Fishes in it. My favorite game on the shelf is Lockup. I really like Lockup.
That'd be my second, yeah.
Role Player is a good game. Role Player would be my second favorite. They're both good, but Lockup, I like worker placement with a little bit of hidden. I think if you like Aladdin's Dragons, which you like a lot.
Yeah.
That slides over into Lockup. So
they share some DNA. Have you played that Majolica game?
Yeah, I don't particularly care for it.
It's weird. That's the game that had possibly one of the biggest drops. Like the first time I played it, I was like, this is really clever, this is really cool. Second time I played it, I was like, I'm so tired of filling the market with these cardboard tiles.
It's almost too clever. And when I first played it, people were like, this is going to replace Azul. It did not. Because everyone in the world understands Azul. Majolica, you have to constantly explain to people how to play it. I think it's too obtuse for a lot of people.
Chris swears I played that, but I don't remember anything about it.
Chris swears all the time here in the Dice Tower.
Constantly.
You have not seen it.
I couldn't.
I don't even know what
the Chris
word starts with. Let's move on.
This is a segment where we take a game based on an IP, and I tell you if the mechanism and the IPs match well together, and whether it's a game you should check out. Today we're looking at Lord of the Rings, the deck building game. This is the one based on the Fellowship of the Ring. To play Lord of the Rings, the deck building game is very easy. You take 5 cards, put them face up as the path. Then you're going to choose a character, which will give you 1 card you put in your hand. You'll take 3 Despair and 6 Courage. That'll be your 10 cards, and you shuffle them up. You then draw 5 cards to be your starting hand. Now, there's only 1 currency in this game, which is power. I just count up my power. I have 3, and I can purchase a card in here. This card right here will cost 3 power and give me 1 victory point. I put all these cards in my discard pile, and I draw 5 more from the deck, and a new card will come out. Next player will go. My next turn, the same thing. Now, some of these cards might give you powers. They're artifacts that you can utilize, and you continue doing that. The game will end in one of 2 ways. Either this deck cannot replenish any of this because it's all out, or all these bad guys are defeated. When you can defeat a bad guy on your turn, you just have to have more power than what they have, and you get the victory points. They go into your deck, and they will help you in the future. When you beat Lurtz, the game ends. Whoever has the most victory points is the winner. Now, Lord of the Rings, the deck building game, is based off the DC deck building game system. I believe that was the original one, and there's a ton of these with different IPs. Lord of the Rings is another one. It has stills on it versus unique artwork, which I prefer, but some have trouble with. And I feel like it's a very basic system. Some of the cards you're getting won't thematically necessarily make sense, although I think it works better here than in DC. And as you're going through the Fellowship, you're kind of fighting and having more war, if you will, with these villains more than the game. Now, this only takes the first movie into play, and you won't be able to go all the way through the saga without getting 2 additional games. So this is just the Fellowship and what you're doing in that movie. Do the mechanisms and the IP mix together okay? It's okay. I mean, it's a stretch. I feel like some of the sequels do a little bit better job, but in this one, I feel like it's okay. If you're looking for a light deck building experience, this could definitely be it. If you like The Lord of the Rings, it's going to be higher up on your list, but the mechanism and the IP mixed together, not wonderfully, but a little bit, and that might be enough for you.
Hello, and welcome to Retro Board Game Corner. Sorry I've been gone a minute.
A minute? You've been gone 1.5 years.
You're probably wondering how I got in this situation. Well, my mother has very good hearing. Now, back to our scheduled program.
You've been gone 18 months, 78 weeks, 547 days, 13,128 hours, 787,680 minutes, 47,260,800 seconds.
All right, thank you for letting me know exactly how long I've been gone. Here we have The Last Starfighter combat game, published in 1984 by FASA, or is it FASA? Anyway, this is a 2 or more player game in which you're recreating the final battle in the movie The Last Starfighter. As a side note, they also published 2 other games in 1984 titled Tunnel Chase and Duel in Space, which I might showcase at a later date. Let me set this up and show you how it works. Every player is going to get one of these sheets, one for the gun star and one for the deck fighter. And then they will start on either end of the map. Every turn is going to be, you're going to be able to move, and it's a hidden movement. You can either go forward or make a directional change on this hexagon, and each turn you're going to be using up power. Once all your main power is gone, you go to auxiliary power. There's a way to recharge your power by just sitting idle for one turn. Now this movement is going to be hidden, and at the same time everybody will make their move. You can move 0 to 5 spaces per turn. If you're in firing range, you can go ahead and fire with one of your weapons. The firing will be determined on a 6-sided die. You'll roll the die to see which chart you're going to hit, what section of the ship you're going to hit, and then exactly where you're going to hit. Every hit that you take will lessen your pilot's life, either hit the fuselage, which will limit your movement, hit your engines, which will limit your arc of fire, hit your targeting computer, which will damage your auxiliary power, hit your weapon systems, which will make it harder for you to hit something, or hit your heading controls, which will damage your main power. The object of the game is to kill your other opponent. You can make the game harder by putting asteroids everywhere, and whoever gets hit first will win the game. And there you have it, a brief overview of this game. About 6 years ago, Tom Vasel did a top 10 that was titled Top 10 Movies That Need a Sequel, and this was his #1 pick. Well, that's all the time I have for now. If you have a comment below, or you can tweet with me at RetroBoardGamer. And as always, may your rolls be high.
I don't remember picking that for that list, but I was just telling them that that's a movie I want to see remade. Although they'd probably ruin it.
But is it that good to begin with?
Nah, I love it so much.
I loved it as a kid.
Okay, today we're taking a look at the Steam Deck. This is something that, when it first came out, it was like a pre-order. All I know is that when it came out, people were like, oh, look what I got. I'm like, ooh, how do you get one? And they're like, too late.
Too bad.
You need to be part of the pre-order, which I completely missed and probably didn't want to be involved with. I've had Steam for a decade or more. I know I've had it because on my Steam account, I had PC games, and it's been a long, long time since I've had a PC.
That would be a good metric, yeah, to be like, old.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I'm going to play this game. No, I'm not. Because some games like Skyrim, for example, I played on the PC. So I've had it at least 11 years, because that was where I first played it, was on
See,
Steam.
I prefer to play on the PC, those kind of games.
I'm not arguing. I don't want to get into those kind of wars here. I'm neutral party across this board. PC is great. Video console is great. But the Steam Deck, what it is it's really similar to a Switch in many ways. It's bigger than a Switch.
It looks like a Switch.
It does look like a Switch. My kids think it's a Switch, and they also don't care about it. So the
controllers don't come off, though, of the sides.
That's true. Well, the Switch Lite, except this isn't Lite.
Have they tried to put a Switch cartridge in there yet?
No.
Dad, it's not working. I put 7 waffles, but it's not doing anything.
I got this mostly for playing fights and also because I have a big giant Steam library. Now, a couple things I've noticed about this. First of all, it plays video games pretty well. I've been playing Hades on it a lot, and I've beaten Hades. I enjoy that game, and it's like I'll run around and fight stuff. It plays smoothly. I'm now currently in the middle of playing a game called Marvel Midnight Suns, which is like an XCOM version of Marvel mixed with a deck building game.
Huh.
And that one, I can hear the fan running on. That one, it's busting to play. But that's also a PS5/X. It's like a brand new game that just came out. It plays Skyrim very well. What I don't like on it, so on the front of it, there's these are like trackpads.
Okay, so you have the joysticks on each side.
Yeah, there's 4 buttons in back, 2, and then there's even 2 underneath here, which I almost never use.
What are those, like page up, page down?
I don't know.
Gosh, yeah.
I haven't used them for a game yet.
That's the Spidey senses.
The button configuration is almost exactly like the PS5 because I don't think about it when I'm playing it. So it's probably almost the same where all the buttons are. Or it's like the Switch, one of those two. There's an on and off switch at the top. Let me show you. There it is. Whoops, I just turned it on and then back off.
You were showing us the full functionality of that button.
And then you can go through your Steam library. And it was like, there's Marvel Suns. That's the game I'm currently playing. But you can go through, and I got Skyrim and this Chained Echoes, which is some fantasy-style game. Serious Sam. I have a lot of XCOM. I have a lot of the Jackbox games on here, Fallout, so on and so forth.
Ooh, Tabletop Simulator. You've discovered an even worse method of playing tabletop.
So that's the thing,
do you
right?
have any Ubisoft games on there? Because this is a real question. Do you have to be hooked up to the internet to be able to play the Ubisoft games?
I don't know. What's Ubisoft? They make what?
They make Assassin's Creed, they make Phoenix Rises, they make like those kind of games.
I don't know if I have any of their games.
Okay. Because on PC, you have to be on the internet. So I've tried playing it like on the cruise without the internet, and you can't because you have to sign into Ubisoft Connect.
By the way, it's really stupid.
It's really obnoxious. Really obnoxious.
This you can definitely play offline because I played it on the airplane.
Stuff, yeah.
Here's a couple negatives about it. First of all, there's space. You can buy 3 different ones, and the price varies a lot by space, to the point where I think the biggest amount of space, which is the one I got, is probably twice as much as the lowest one.
Really?
Wow.
Because space is a big deal. I just wanted to download my whole Steam library.
It's not expandable? Can you throw a card
No, I
in?
don't think so.
Okay.
Also, like any of these things, it's going to run out of date after a while. I assume that this will be updated every few years to run the newest and hottest stuff. I'm okay with that because I am not a FOMO guy when it comes to new video games. I got this Marvel Midnight Suns, and I'll still be happy playing that in 3 or 4 years, probably.
Yeah.
Have you played any point and click kind of games?
Well, that's what I'd say. So a
those?
negative thing about this is I was very excited about Civilization. I love Civilization, and the screen's too small. I type in the names on a little pop-up keyboard. I move this around, or it's a touch screen. It's just too small for me. Maybe I'm too old of a man. That didn't work very well. Other games in those simulation games, I don't like them on this.
I think anyone who's ever played StarCraft 64, the console version of StarCraft, would probably
that
agree.
Sounds terrible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think anyone like that would probably agree and say
How do you
like,
play successfully without hotkeys?
yeah, some of those games probably just don't work in more of a console setting.
Yeah, so that I don't like. The battery life is also a little shorter than I'd want. We flew to Vegas, and it didn't last the whole time. It lasted about 3 hours plus, and that's not terrible. And now I have a portable battery, so it's going to last the whole time. But keep that in mind. At home, I don't play video games that long. 3 hours is a very long time. I'll just play for a while, and then I charge it. I charge it with a USB-C, so I just charge it the same thing my computer charges in.
Thor in the chat there says that there might be a SD. There's probably expandable SD storage, maybe in the bottom there.
Oh, maybe that's what that is. Yeah, okay,
like
possibly.
micro?
Well, if that's the case, then you should get the smaller one.
Probably, right? It'll be slower to run on a SD card or whatever, but
the interface, though, very smooth. I've had no problems running any games. Like I said, the worst thing was the fan turning on for Marvel Midnight Suns. That's the first time I've noticed it. The light, it has a backlit. It works really well. Can you stream it to your PC? You can hook it up to the TV. You have to run it through the USB-C, though, to an HDMI, which I thought would be too much of a pain.
What's the last handheld that wasn't backlit? The Game Boy
I know,
Color?
okay, fine. I'm just saying that. I'm playing things at night. It's nice and
Does
bright.
it have a headphone jack?
Yes.
Does it have Bluetooth?
Yes, but it does not, as far as I can figure out, work with the
AirPods,
although maybe there's a way to do so, and I didn't look it up. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I didn't get it to recognize AirPods, but maybe there's a way to do it. I'm still new to this AirPod thing. Anyhow, I like it a lot. I recommend it. One of the things about this is that I can get really cheap games on Steam now. There's a $5 game on Steam. I'm like, yeah, why not?
Sure.
And the disadvantage of this is there's a few PS5 games that I was like, whoa, I would love to play them on this. I'm having a hard time wanting to buy them twice.
Sure.
Are Humble Bundles still a thing?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's always sales, so I guess I can keep an eye out for that. I also don't want to spend tons of money. My video game budget for a year is pretty small, and the majority of my video game budget this year, all of it, was spent on this. Oh yeah, and Zelda, but that's not my video game budget. That's the kids'
That's
thing.
the family.
That's the family one.
You just benefit from it.
I don't even know if I'm gonna get to play it.
You got to get multiple copies. Don't you have multiple Switches?
Yeah, but I have 3 kids who want to play it.
Oh man, I should fight Chris for it.
Alrighty, that's what we have to review this week. Let's keep moving.
Hey everyone, today on the Plastic Canvas we're turning the hunters from Bloodborne from this into this in just 2 minutes. Hey everyone, Matt here from the Plastic Canvas and welcome to today's episode of 2 Minute Mini, and today we're painting the hunters from Bloodborne. So the main thing I want to talk about in this video is the way that I tried to bring the dark and gritty theme of the game through with each one, despite them looking quite different. Now I needed to focus on bringing the theme out a little more for these first 2 hunters because they have less of a hunter look than the other 2, as they look a little cleaner and their colour palette is much lighter. So with the first hunter who just had a plain white robe, I kept it simple by just using a dark brown wash to build up layers around her feet to make it look as though she'd been trudging through mud. With the hunter axe, the hunter that I'm painting at the moment, I wanted to bring the theme out by making it look as though he'd just slain an enemy. So as you can see, I added a dripping blood effect to this axe by cutting up and gluing on thin strips of plastic packaging and then painting blood over the top. For the threaded cane and saw cleaver, the last 2 hunters, it was a little easier to bring out the theme because the colours of their clothing is much darker and more muted, so lots of browns and greys. I stuck to their artwork as much as I could because it obviously fit the theme well, but because the colours of their clothing is so muted and so similar, on minis of these scales, all of the details will just get lost once they're out on the board. So I needed to look for parts of each mini where I could add a bit of a contrasting colour in to help break the details up. For the saw cleaver here, I did this by painting his cloak to look as though it was a lighter brown faded leather, as opposed to grey in the artwork, but still fitting in with the theme. This just helped to break up all of those different greys so that when the mini's in the middle of the table, all those details are easier to see. If you've painted minis with a dark and gritty theme as well, I'd love to hear in the comments how you brought that out. And if you'd like to see the full video of this video, where I go into all of this in more detail, then just head over to my channel, The Plastic Canvas, and I hope you enjoy your breakfast.
What is up? My name is Matthew McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love, and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week, I am continuing with my top 1 board game for a video game genre. The video game genre I'm talking about today is horde-like games. So pretty much video games that just throw a bunch of like hordes at you, and you are... There's usually not really much of an objective. It's more like how many waves can you get through. So you could think of like, they're usually like zombie-like games, but sometimes, you know, there's those retro games of just going through, shooting down like the aliens and everything like that. I'm thinking of Galaga there. But anyway, my number 1 board game for this genre is Ghost Stories. Now, Ghost Stories is, I don't believe, in print. It's now The Last Bastion that's in print, and it's pretty much the same game from what I understand, but it's like a fantasy version, and maybe some of the rules have been like spruced up. I don't have Last Bastion, I have Ghost Stories, and I really like that. I don't think that there's a bunch of board games that have like the ghost theme in it, I think. But essentially in the game, you are just going up against a bunch of ghosts, and you are trying to use different special abilities. There's a bit of push your luck element in it. It is extremely hard, just going up against waves and waves of ghosts that also have their own sort of special abilities that you have to deal with and everything. So, and it's a cooperative style game, which is cool, which is usually what happens in these types of like video game genres of like just going up against waves of hordes. You're usually doing that with other players. You could also play it solo. And anyway, so yeah, I just love Ghost Stories. It's very difficult to beat. I beat it only once on initiation level. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like, you can check out mine and my brother's channel called Room 51. I'll catch you next time.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about the new Colt Express expansion. And while this new team-based expansion is really cool, adding a second train, well, I think it missed the mark in a few places. Unfortunately, the biggest place it missed is the big box. Big miss, big box. Yes, I made that really tenuous link. The big box was released pretty much last year, and it doesn't fit this expansion. It seems a really, really big box oversight that it only has enough room for the sort of 2 expansions and the base game. They must have known, or they did know because the news was out, that this new train, extra second train expansion was coming out. Now don't get me wrong, this box is full with the new train and carriages and a couple new characters and stuff, and the team mode is quite cool as a bit of a change, but I do still like the original all mode better. But if you're creating a big box for your game and you know more content is coming, and more content is coming within like a year, what are you doing not sort of thinking about it? Moan aside, the new team mode is interesting to play because it shakes things up. No longer are you against everyone. There's ways to nudge your teammates to allow them to do basic actions so they can do a little bit extra. So there is some really cool teamwork that you can pull off as you're jumping from one train to the other, still shooting at each other and the new couriers as well. But yeah, big box, big oversight, cool new expansion. Enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
And this is the rest of the breakfast because we got to go. Marbles are starting in 9 minutes, folks. We'll see you there. Don't forget, on the other hand, Dice Tower East, which is only a few months away in July. It's going to be fantastic. And we sold 40 tickets this past week. There's like around 150 left. Dice Tower East, sponsored by Homestead Family Games. No.
House
Family Homestead. And All Play. It's going to be a fantastic time. We'd love to see you there. You can check out more at DicetowerEast.com. But for now, let's go to Marbles. We'll see you there.
Welcome to the Dice Tower Spring Spectacular, featuring top 10s, live plays, contests, and more.